Hello, my name is Arjuna, and in this video I will be telling you about the do and don'ts in public speaking. Now first of all, let's start with what public speaking is. Public speaking is a figure of speech that you want to conduct in front of a public area, like in big crowds in a park or maybe in a big hall. Those type of big speeches that you do, or either a speech or those kind of letters that you want to propose to everyone. It could be a presentation, for example, whether you are presenting, whether you are conducting a big speech, or you are talking in front of a big group, that it could be a public speaking. Well, it has the term public, which means that you're speaking in a wide group of people and that you're speaking in front of your audiences, whether you're presenting or what. But the main idea of this video is that I want to tell you the do's and don'ts, the tips that you want to need in conducting your public speaking. Let's start with do's. First of all, with the do's, we want to start with a great introduction to yourself. First, you need to introduce yourself to the audiences and what your topic is, and try to have a good greeting like good morning, or how's everyone doing, or a greeting that welcomes all your audiences to your presentation so that everyone would be interested in seeing what you have in mind for presenting. And that was one of the main starts for the do's. But let's get to the actual start. Our first on the topic we have is having enthusiasm at the beginning. Now, in order to make your public speak more interesting, you need to have an enthusiasm in order to make your presentation or your topic interesting, so that audience would look forward to what you have in mind, what you as the presenter have to say to the audiences, so that people know that there is something that you are proud of, that you are excited about in terms of telling the topic that you want to say to your audiences. The next one is being able to relate this topic to your audiences. For example, if we're talking about how environment occurs to us and how bad environment, or maybe how electricity bills or some kind of other topics like that, you want to see if people have a relation with how trash is a pain in our butt. How, for example, the sea has been polluted by trash and how does people feel about it. And you might try to find ways to make sure that the audiences is appealed and lured into the topic, so that you have a connection to it, not only you and the audiences, but the topic as well to the audiences. So you want to try having a more balanced, a powerful connection towards your audiences. The third I have is be persuasive. Now, in terms of saying your public speaking, you're not just talking in front of your audiences, but you're persuading in front of your audiences, as mentioned before. And you need to have a reason why you want your audience to know about the topic that you must share, whether it's important for you, whether it's something interesting to them, or whether it's something that we all should care about, like for example global warming being a thing. You must try your best to persuade audiences why global warming does matter to them and what does it affect to this world and to all the audiences in the world. Another example is that if you're presenting, I would suggest having bright images, or at least an imagery of something. For example, using an imagery or a story that represents what you are trying to present towards your audience. For example, you want to make a story about how trash is being polluted everywhere. It could be a symbolism that you want to put and you want to tell audiences, and not just imageries of that could be interesting. Maybe images of what the effects could be and what your presentation could be. It works. The idea of having the imagery is to make sure that the audience could have a bright vision of what you're trying to tell to the audiences. Another thing to have in mind is that you want to memorize your topic and as well make a small note for yourself. For example, I made a small note for myself so I know what I want to talk in this video, and that could be helpful. And usually what I do is that I write the topics of what I want to say, and whenever I see those topics, I would memorize what kind of topic, what kind of points that I want to point out in my topic, and that's really important. So you want to write them down in small notes. And that also leaves us to the cons of it, which is the don'ts that we're going to do next. The first thing that you don't want to do is to make eye contact, lose eye contact to be exact. Now, eye contact is very important because when you make eye contact with people, you are talking to the audiences. You're not only talking to one person, but you're talking to a group of a whole person. And not only that, if you have a slideshow with you, you don't want to just stare at the slideshow all the time. You don't want to share at the presentation or the PPT all the time, because it confuses the audience, whether you just it makes you a bad presenter, that you're just saying the things that are explained in the PPT instead of what you're saying to yourself. Another tip would be to memorize what is said in the PPT so you can conduct it to yourself, so you can say it to the audiences. Another example of that you don't want to do is to use informal words. For example, you want to repeat the word so, or you want to say like that all the time. It kind of feels being repetitive and people on audiences might not feel comfortable with what you are saying, especially with having a bad grammar during the presentation when you are speaking. Another thing you don't want to do is to be irrelevant with the topic, because your topic is important. If your topic is about trash, stick to the topic about trash. Don't stick to what the benefits to other people is, and don't stick to what it causes to people, how it affects the world, or maybe how the police might affect with trash. You still want to stay in topic, and it's very important that you stay in topic. Otherwise, the topic will be a different story if you go outside of your topic. One of the most important things you want to do is a big pause. Now, you can pause in the middle of a presentation to give yourself time to breathe or to give yourself time to think of what you want to say. No, but it's not good to do it all the time. Whenever you pause, you don't pause for a long time so that the audience don't feel quiet, and you don't feel quiet as well as a presenter. So you know what you're saying in your presentation during your public speaking. You need to make sure that your speaking keeps going and does not stop until everything has been passed out to everyone. Whenever a presenter pauses, they do it in order to take breathe or take time to say, but you can't do it all the time, because the longer you pause, the quiet the presentation becomes. My last idea is making audiences uncomfortable. Like, for example, swearing could be in our topic, especially using slang words or using inappropriate things in your presentation or being naughty throughout your presentation. It's gonna make the audience comfortable, and on the contrary, it also makes the audience feels a little bit satisfied with what you're saying. It already represents what you are as a presenter, whether you are a bad presenter or a good presenter. The bad things that you put in your presentation is what doesn't make a good presentation at all, but it could be a bad one either. So yeah, that is my advice on the do's and don'ts for public speaking. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. I hope that this video could be helpful, and if it is helpful for you, please feel free to give it a like so that you can save this video and check out this video anytime for tips and tricks. And I hope that this video is beneficial for you guys. Thank you so much for watching.